Is Saquon Barkley heading to NFL free agency? We're going to break that down on today's show as Jordan Raanan of ESPN and Giants Insider, he shared his opinion on ESPN Radio and said, it seems like this is headed for Barkley to hit free agency, which means no franchise tag. Let's dive into it, but first, make sure you are subscribed to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. We put out free, informative, entertaining, passion-driven content on Big Blue every day, all year long, for free. And if the Giants make a move or news or rumors come out, we're making a video, so subscribe and turn your notifications on. Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's get into it. Jordan Raanan of ESPN, he shared his opinion on ESPN Radio and said it seems like there will not be a franchise tag for Saquon Barkley, and he is heading to free agency. After hopping on ESPN Radio and saying that information spread like a wildfire on Twitter. In U Stadium, as well as ML Football, JPA Football, and Dov Kleiman, they grabbed that quote from Raanan and they ran with it, saying, quote, the Giants are not expected to use the franchise tag for the second consecutive season on Saquon Barkley. ESPN's Jordan Raanan said on 98.7 ESPN Radio, it seems like this is headed for Barkley to hit free agency. That went viral on Twitter. I had 1,000 people ask me, Marshall, what do you think? I said, let's just wait a little bit, because Jordan Raanan responded to that on Twitter and said, this isn't being portrayed correctly. I didn't report anything. I was asked my opinion during a radio spot and speculated based on what I've seen and heard publicly. I think that's the most important part of this. Based on what I've seen and what I have heard publicly. Not what he's heard behind closed doors, not what he's heard from the Giants, what he has heard publicly. But I am going to say this. I don't think Jordan Raanan would share his opinion if he did not feel confident about that situation. He's a beat reporter. He's an insider. He's heard a lot and he's seen a lot, which tells me, yeah, it may not be a report, but he's saying this for a certain reason, and he wouldn't say that's how he felt or believed if he didn't have solid ground to stand on. But my question is this. Why would the Giants not franchise tag Saquon Barkley at $12.4 million per year? The only reason that the Giants would not be interested in franchise tagging Saquon Barkley would mean that they don't want him here. Because just last offseason, the New York Giants offered Saquon Barkley multiple multi-year deals. They were willing to make a multi-year agreement and decision and a marriage to Saquon Barkley just less than 7 months ago. But now, we don't want to franchise tag him, and which really means you don't want him here, while his value is actually lower this year. Last year, Saquon Barkley talked about being one of the highest paid running backs in the NFL. There is not a team of 32 in the National Football League that would make him a top paid running back in this league. I think he'd get top 5, top 10 money, but he ain't getting McCaffrey money, and he ain't getting Alvin Kamara money. The Saints might just cut Alvin Kamara. So if you're not willing to franchise tag him, and you're not willing to pay him while his salary is lower, or his value is lower, which means the salary would be lower, that just tells me that you don't think he's a part of this organization going forward. You don't think he's good enough to be paid like a top back in this league. What I have heard, though, is this. The New York Giants could let Saquon Barkley hit NFL free agency, test the waters, and see what his market is out there. And the Giants would like for him to go do that and see if he can get an offer, and then come back to the Giants with that offer, and then give Joe Schoen an opportunity to match that offer. This is my thing, though. Why on earth would Saquon Barkley do that? There's only one reason, and it's because he truly means what he says when he says, I want to be a New York Giant for life. I want to be once a Giant, always a Giant, and only a Giant. Because put yourself in those shoes. Let's say at your company, you are up for your annual review. You are trying to get a new contract and an upraise in salary. But your current employer does not believe you are valued at what you value yourself. So your current employer says, how about you go out there, see if you can get another job, see if they will pay you more than we will, and then if you do get that offer, we may just match it.
That is an absolute slap in the face. Why would you ever want to work for someone that does not value you at the point that you value yourself? And if there's another organization, another team, another job out there that values you more for the same position, everyone is leaving. I understand that's what the Giants are hoping happens. Maybe Saquon Barkley's a better person than I am. I absolutely would not do that, and I would accept once I feel like I got an offer from any team, whether it be the Giants or another team, that aligns with how I value myself. I want everyone to predict it, though, for me, because I've always believed that Saquon Barkley would be a Giant for life. I believed he was going to retire a Giant. I'm not going to lie to you. Over the past month or so, people I've talked to and things I've heard, I don't necessarily feel that same way. So I want you to help me out. You guys are the smartest people I know. Shout out to all the real ones. Will Saquon Barkley be on the New York Giants next year? Type Y for yes, type N for no. The only way that I see Saquon Barkley playing for another team this year is if Joe Schoen does not want him here. Because if Joe Schoen wants him here, he will be here. Because the Giants have all the power in this situation. And I hate even using that type of word. But I'm going to say what I always say. The National Football League has granted every team in the NFL a tool, the franchise tag. And you can use it on a player, which prevents them from seeing their value and make sure that they are on your team. Meaning, if Joe Schoen really valued Saquon Barkley and wanted him to be here, he would put the franchise tag on him, and Saquon Barkley would be a New York Giant. I'm not so sure, though, that is going to happen. We've heard Dan Duggan of The Athletic, we've talked about it on this show, said that he does not think putting a franchise tag on him is a good idea. And now Jordan Renan shared his opinion, not a report, an opinion, that he does not think it will happen. It's going to get dicey over these next couple of weeks and months. Boy, oh boy, I thought it was a long offseason last year. We went all the way into August with this. We might just be doing it all again. Coming up next, the New York Giants have hired 2 coaches, and they've promoted 3 coaches on their roster, including Mike Kafka. Yeah, Mike Kafka, the guy that wanted to go to Seattle to be the head coach and then wanted to go to Seattle to be the OC, he got a promotion with the New York Giants. We'll break it down around the corner, but first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Game Time. Open the App Store and download Game Time, the #1 ticketing app in the game. And when you use the promo code GIANTSCHAT, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase with the lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the events get closer. I am a huge fan of Game Time. Also, if you're trying to go to the big game this Sunday in Las Vegas, if you use the promo code Vegas100, well, that's what it looks like in the redeem code screen, you're going to get $100 off the big game this Sunday. So if you use promo code Vegas100, you'll save $100 off a potential big game ticket. And then you can use promo code GIANTSCHAT and get $20 off. It doesn't just have to be a Giants game. You can go to a Knicks game. You can go to a concert. You can go to a theater event. You can go to a play and so much more. Game Time is the app that you should check out the next time you need tickets. Check them out. I've used it to buy concert tickets. I've used it to buy Knicks tickets. I've also put a lot of my friends and family onto it. I love it. Shout out to Game Time. All that information will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. All righty. So Mike Kafka has gotten a promotion for the New York Giants. And what a series of events it has been for him. Mike Kafka has been upgraded. He will continue to be the offensive coordinator for this team, but he has also been upgraded to the assistant head coach. People were talking about firing Mike Kafka 2 weeks ago. The Giants blocked Mike Kafka's offensive coordinator interview with the Seattle Seahawks. And that's what's so interesting about this. Mike Kafka interviewed 2 times to be the Seattle Seahawks head coach. He didn't get the job. But the way I take this is he wanted to leave, and it could totally be wrong. I'm not trying to be a downer, it's just how I see things. The Seahawks didn't want him to be the head coach. But he didn't want to be the Giants offensive coordinator so bad. He went back to the Seahawks, who denied him a head coaching job, to potentially be their offensive coordinator. That's how bad it got for the New York Giants. And on top of that, Brian Daboll took play calling away from Mike Kafka multiple times last year, including in game. He took the play calling away in the Dallas game and gave it to Shea Tierney in the second half. Oh, man. This is my thing, Brian Daboll. If you don't believe in him, which you don't because you took play calling away from him, why is he your offensive coordinator? You took over the offensive meetings. I don't understand this. I'm glad Kafka's here. I think he is a good coach. Do I think he could be better? Yes. But at the end of the day, just really muddy waters the New York Giants are walking through. But I think this is the end of the Kafka and potentially leaving rumors. He accepted a job as the assistant head coach, and I think he'll be here for the minimum at one more year. The Giants also made another upgrade on the offensive staff. Quarterback coach Shea Tierney has been upgraded to the passing game coordinator. So he'll continue to be the quarterback's coach, but he'll also be the pass game coordinator. And then Jerome Henderson, who was a finalist to be the next defensive coordinator for the New York Giants. He's been their defensive back coach for quite some time. He has now been elevated as their defensive pass game coordinator. So Kafka gets an upgrade, Henderson gets an upgrade, and Shea Tierney gets an upgrade. And the Giants and their defense, now led by Shane Bowen, he's already making some hires as well. Charlie Bowen, former Illinois defensive coach, has been hired as the outside linebacker coach for the New York Giants to take the spot of Wink Martindale's best buddy, the Wilkins brothers. Who is Charlie Bowen? Well, here is what his recent coaching tenure in history is. In 2023, he was the outside linebacker coach / pass rush coordinator for Illinois. And then from 2019 to 2022, he was the outside linebacker coach and assistant linebacker coach for the Arizona Cardinals. Then in 2012, he was the defensive assistant for Miami. Then he got upgraded with the Dolphins to the assistant D-line coach, then assistant linebacker coach. And prior to that, he spent some time with the Iowa Hawkeyes as a student assistant and graduate assistant. Also, Zach Core has been hired as a defensive assistant for the New York Giants. So 2 hires on the defensive staff already for Bowen. And yeah, he comes from the Tennessee Titans, so they have a little bit of a relationship. Core was the inside linebacker assistant coach for Tennessee from 2021 to 2023, and he was their quality control coach in 2020. So almost all the positions are filled now on the Giants coaching staff. Let's get you caught up to date on that. As we know, Brian Daboll is the head coach. You got Mike Kafka as the offensive coordinator. You got a new DC, Shane Bowen. And your special teams coach, Michael G. I don't know how to say his name. I'm going to learn, but it's Michael G for me right now. The quarterback coach, Shane Tierney. Running back coach, Joel Thomas, comes from the New Orleans Saints. Mike Groh as your wide receiver coach. He's been there a while. New O-line coach from the Las Vegas Raiders, Carmen Brasillo. And your new tight end coach, Tim Kelly, who was just hired 2 days ago. On the defensive side of the ball, still Dre, baby. Andre Patterson remains as the D-line coach. Very happy about that. And then John Egruwu is going to be the linebacker coach. Charlie Bowen will be your outside linebacker coach, and Jerome Henderson will remain as the DB coach, while also being the head of the defensive pass game coordinator. I want you to grade the Giants coaching staff for me, though. It's red pen time. Be honest with me. How would you grade this staff? A, B, C, D, or F? I want to hear from you in the comment section. I'd probably give it a B. I still believe in Daboll. He upsets me a lot of the time. I don't love the stuff that I've heard this summer, but early this year. But you know what? It is what it is. I'll give him a B at this point, and I think they could definitely be better than that down the end of the year. Make sure you guys are following me over on social media. The handle is @MarshallGreen on Twitter and on Instagram. Give me a follow over there, and let's go, Big Blue.